Changing Your Stripes: The Social Psychology of Situation, Self, and Solutions by Matt Moody, PhD. Copyright 2012. Dedicated to the memory of my mother, Virginia Finlinson Moody, a model of selfless compassion and patience, and to my dearly departed sister, Patricia Moody White, who, like my mom, made you feel like a person of importance and worth when in her presence, and to my dad, Milo Cressfield Moody, respected and honored by those he generously served as a medical doctor and church leader, purely positive about life to the age of 90. Preface. Poem, The Journey, by Reed H. Bradford. For this is the journey that men make, to find themselves. If they fail in this, it matters little, whatever else they may achieve. Money, fame, revenge. When they end the journey, they can put them all into a bin marked ashes. They mean nothing. But if one has found that he has within him a divine soul, if he has discovered the principles upon which the fulfillment of that soul is based, and if he implements those principles, then he has a mansion within which he can live with dignity and joy each day of his life. The woods would be very silent if no birds sang, except those who sing best. These words by John Audubon are encouraging to us all to sing the song that is in them and to sing it as best they can in their own unique way, pushing aside comparisons. In writing this book, I am singing. Part of my unique singing style is expressed through my use of italics, quotation marks, and capital letters. So when you come across an emphasized word, or three, just imagine I'm talking to you personally and I'm animating my voice. Being emphatic and dramatic is a family tradition. And his last name was? ? Further, I have used quotation marks, italics, and capital letters to bring out words and ideas so you can better, quote-unquote, see parallels and comparisons, and to point out terms that will have a special meaning within the context of this book. Throughout the book, you will also observe that I make use of the ellipsis, 3 dots. That will invite you to pause and pay attention. To better convey the cadence of my normal speaking voice was one motive, and another intent was to lend greater force and focus to key conclusions. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone, I sometimes use the ellipsis, and even italics, to keep my auto-hyphenator from chopping certain words in 2. Crazy me! But as you pass your eyes over the ink, I hope you will allow my unique way of symbolizing to lead you to deeper and richer meaning, for there is method to my madness. How to read this book. You have my permission to jump in anywhere you'd like. Now, doesn't that sound fun? If you spend a few moments perusing the table of contents and the index, I am confident you will find many topics that will capture your curiosity. I remember when I began my Master of Education program, and to my complete surprise, my professors were actually teachers. So instead of droning on with some sleep-inducing lecture, my professors did more than merely profess. Because they were truly teachers, they taught. In a most delightful learning experience, part of my education included the bestowal of responsibility to craft my own curriculum. Wow! After decades of being dictated what to do, I was given the weight of responsibility to decide what I was going to learn. I soon realized that if I didn't do a good job of this, I would be cheating myself. So within the broad parameters of a course topic, my wise teachers would ask, "What is it you would like to learn? And how can I help you?" From first-hand experience, I've learned that doing your own assignments is much more motivating than doing the ones dictated by the dictator. This is precisely why I'm giving you the responsibility to enter these writings anywhere you'd like. Master teachers have taught me that your own motivations and honest intuitions will faithfully lead you to the greatest depths of learning. While you're following your own questions and curiosities, you will eventually discover that some concepts are best understood by grasping previous explanations, but I will leave that up to you to discern for yourself. Hint: cause versus constraint in the situation chapter, emotion as energy in motion in the self chapter, and memory as remembering in the solutions chapter. All these are foundational concepts, just to name a few. When you eventually climb into the middle of this book, you will stumble upon a concept called the looking glass self, which explains the emergence of self-identity, not to be confused with who you are. In a nutshell, the theory contends that you don't really know who you are till someone tells you. Some people stubbornly kick at this idea. Hey, I know who I am, and I don't need anyone to tell me. But what you have in your head is really a myth called self-identity. See page 92. Even so, people persist in thinking they have the best access to themselves, but this is not true. Others have the best view, at least the best view of the aspect of self called being, which is the most important aspect because this is where character is located. Character is not a physical attribute. Character transcends the boundaries of the body and is expressed in how you are being with others. Because being is located in relations, you become aware of your way of being only in reflections that come from the social mirror. Other people tell you how you are being. They let you know who you are, at which point you construct a myth in your mind, which sounds like a bind, but the book suggests solutions. Some people don't want to see their reflection in the mirror, especially those who suspect that they will not like what they see. Have you ever met a cranky old codger who is completely clueless to being cranky? Such crusty codgers are oblivious precisely because nobody dares reflect back to Mr. I am crotchety the fact that he is crotchety. Can you imagine the kind of reception you would get if required to confront some abrasive ogre? Pardon me, your maniacal majesty, but you're a very cranky, crusty, cantankerous sort of fella. Has anyone ever shared that with you, Mr. Dictator, sir? May I make a humble suggestion? I think you'd win more friends and influence more people if you would try de-emphasizing the oppression thing and maybe concentrate on learning a few first names and talking about other people's interests. It's actually pretty much standard operating procedure for diabolical dictators to behead the bearer of bad news. Thus, sharing constructive criticism with demoniacal despots has been largely avoided for a few millennia. The fact is that some people, like toxic tyrants, make themselves unapproachable because they don't want to see who they are in the social mirror. This means that unapproachable types don't get approached and don't get much needed feedback. See page 155. Just as we don't really know who we are till somebody tells us. Similarly, I don't know the impact of what I've written in this book until reflective feedback returns from those who read. When the readers speak, it is then I come to know how my words come across. So as you read this book, I'm eager to hear what's not correct and what's not clear. I'd like to know what's working and what inspires and what may be falling flat on its face. Some might fear such feedback, but in writing, as in life, it's the feedback that helps us adjust, clarify, and become. If you have a helpful suggestion to offer, please contact me through my website, www.changingyourstripes.com. Our lives are works in progress. Each new day extends a fresh opportunity to learn and grow. Every new day offers refining moments to knock off the rough edges of our character and become smooth and polished in purpose. In like manner, this book is a work in progress. There are parts that may need improvement, but as the days roll by and I keep at the task, my words will become wiser as I adjust to fair feedback. I welcome comments that can make the explanations in this book more effective and fluent. These writings are committed to the process of change. In the meantime, I present to you my last abandoned draft. I invite you to read this book with the same kindly attitude expressed by Dinah M. Craig. Oh, the comfort, the inexpressible comfort of feeling safe with a person, having neither to weigh thoughts nor measure words, but to pour them all out just as they are, chaff and grain together, assured that a faithful hand will take and sift them. Keep what is worth keeping, and then, with the breath of kindness, blow the rest away. In 475 BC, Heraclitus declared, "It is in changing that we find purpose. Finding your purpose and living up to that purpose is the reason these words are written. So I would say, good luck as you read Changing Your Stripes. But I know that luck is the residue of persistent effort. The lucky ones are the people who faithfully endure in the journey. So press forward, for your luck is about to change." Matt Moody, May 12th, 2012. Introduction. A superior premise for satisfying solutions. Some therapies for solving life's ever-appearing problems come from traditions of secular psychology, perspectives that foster an inferior starting point, a poor premise. What is it about my bad biology, my bad brain chemistry, or my bad upbringing that causes the misery in which I am mired. Because the origins for human problems are assumed to be caused by physical factors in the body or by a bad environment, I call this kind of science, it's not your fault psychology. There is great popular appeal for the you're not responsible paradigm. Yahoo! You don't have to own any bad behavior. Ironically, the very institution that you look to for healing and happiness often enables you to reject personal responsibility and instead encourages people to blame emotions and actions on their bad upbringing or bad biology. Such convenient excuses come via dubious diagnoses of disorders, bipolar, ADD, PTSD, OCD, etc., that people purportedly come down with, like physical diseases. And if a disorder is not in order, excuse-making psychology will assist you in blaming your misery of mind and emotion on the influence of unfit parents or inappropriate peers. Regardless of the diagnosis, the bottom line for this kind of science is, it's not your fault. Nevertheless, some troubles you encounter in life will occur by no fault of your own. Indeed, many misfortunes happen beyond your direct control. The movements of Mother Nature, physical diseases and disabilities, mechanical failures, accidents caused by the inattentive acts of others, and abuses brought on by intentional mistreatment. All these scenarios cause what I call situational suffering. Yet even amidst situations that are not caused by you, there remains one thing that is completely caused by you: your response to whatever happens at the level of heart, mind, and emotion. Instead of beginning with blame and fault, see page 20, a superior entry into the issues of life begins with the question of response ability. Explore this topic in the index. So even when physical ailments or aggravating environments tug and tear at your flesh, you remain free to choose your responses of heart and soul. This means you get to own all that comes out of you in terms of mind and emotion, a notion that receives a positive nod from the populace in theory, but is far less popular in practice. Unfortunately, the lure of it's not your fault psychology wins many more followers. We live in an excuse-making society that entices us to blame someone else or something else for the irritable and sometimes insane reactions that come out of us. Truth is, personal happiness is found in the exact opposite direction from blame and excuse. Refer to page 17. When you can fully own your responses of mind and emotion, you can live free from the self-imposed prison of a victim's mentality, even when victimized. As you change your stripes, even amid bodily ailments and environmental adversities, you will enjoy the victor's view, and you will increase in strength of character, directly because of tough times, not just in spite of them. Instead of dwelling on yesterday's bad news, a superior premise begins by focusing upon the dynamics of the present moment. What is happening now in terms of your response ability, your ability to choose love instead of all other responses that fall short of love, your ability to respond in ways that build your strength of character instead of make you something less. See page 196. Here's the raw reality of life. Any response coming out of you that is less than love is a response that will diminish your personal peace and will limit your best life as a human being. Becoming a new kind of creature. The saying goes, you can't change a tiger's stripes. That may be so as long as a tiger remains a tiger. But what if that striped animal could be changed into a new kind of creature? What if people could change who they are fundamentally and not just superficially or cosmetically? What if people could change their stripes? The truth is, you will be who you are until you become someone different. Until you change your stripes, you will bring the old animal with you wherever you go. And as you encounter new situations, you will tend to act according to the old patterns of the old creature, repeating old ways that may not work and may not bring happiness. The common cure for dealing with a tiger-like disposition, explosive and ferocious, is to ship the ornery animal off to a different place, relocate to a new zoo, or if the tiger is especially tenacious, another cure is to simply leave the cranky creature. Either way, as long as the tiger remains a tiger, cutting claws are liable to leave their mark upon new prey in a future day, and the false remedy of relocation will eventually be repeated. When stubborn creatures resist fundamental change from their core, root problems remain the same, even though superficial scenery and personal appearance may change. So as remedies go, better than relocation is recovery. At our first of many meetings, Alice announced, "I've married the same man 3 times." What she meant by this was that she had really married 3 different men, but because the same nagging issues cropped up in all 3 marriages, she concluded that the problem was the type of man she had married. In her view, these 3 men were broken in the same way, making them essentially the same man 3 times over. Initially, it did not occur to her that the common denominator in all 3 failed marriages was Alice. Though her husbands certainly made their unique and negative contributions to the quagmire, they were basically responding to the menacing advances of an untamed tiger. When human beings are attacked by a tiger, they tend to respond in similar ways, with defense and self-protection. For Alice, all 3 husbands cowered and defended from her cutting claws in the same protective pattern. What a coincidence! The ultimate answer for Alice was not to get declawed or to take tiger etiquette lessons, but to change her stripes completely and become a new kind of creature. Instead, Alice opted for relocation over recovery and moved to a new zoo. She divorced number 3 and married number 4. Thus, a regrettable lament is forecast. Without a fundamental change in Alice from her core, it's only a matter of time till her new man gets mauled also. And when husband number 4 cowers and defends in the same predictable fashion, Alice will again exclaim, "I've married the same man 4 times." You can try to run from your troubles, but you cannot run from yourself. Wherever you go, you will bring yourself with you. Within each of us are unresolved problems waiting to happen. Old, unresolved issues that are like landmines longing to be stepped on, anxiously waiting to explode. And these same old issues arise because of who we are. All our problems are portable. We bring them with us wherever we go. Without a fundamental change from our core, a change from the heart, our built-in troubles will eventually surface as we face future situations we have yet to master. Hence, the same old creature relocates to a new situation or a new relationship with energetic hopes and optimistic anticipations, only to find the same stale issues arising again and again. This broken record routine will tend to play its annoying tune over and over until you change your stripes. Mastering a challenging situation is ultimately a matter of mastering yourself. You must not expect that things will get better simply because tough times decrease via avoidance. Life is to be lived with gusto. Challenges are to be met head on, for it is directly in our challenges that we find our ultimate destiny. In the ever-appearing adversities of life, we can increase in strength of character, a character that at mortal death is the only possession of which it can be said, "You took it with you." What you will take into the eternal world is what you become. The greatest prize for life's labors is not in material possessions or impressive accomplishments, but in the progress of personal character. You labor for your own becoming. This is your richest reward. Ironically, it's often the case that untamed tigers will actively participate in the creation of a problem in the first place, and then paradoxically perpetuate it by reacting poorly to the very situation they set up. Alice brought herself and her tiger-like disposition to each new relationship, and what she saw coming back was mostly a function of who she was. She was setting up her own troubles. She had not sufficiently increased in strength of character by changing her stripes. Similarly, we can behave like cantankerous tigers and inflame the very struggles we complain about, the struggles we wish would go away. Whether large or small, we play our part in making difficulties worse than they would be, if only we would change our stripes and thereafter respond in new ways, loving ways, according to the attributes and natural inclinations of a new kind of creature. The process of changing your stripes is advanced as you understand the nature of the zoo you live in, seeing the realities of your situation, and the makeup of the animal you are, understanding yourself.